Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be with you today. And today we're going to be continuing our theme on the family. And in particular, we're going to be talking about widows today. And it's very much a neglected theme. And that's a shame because in the Old Testament, it shows and expresses God's heart for widows. But also in the New Testament, it talks about true religion is this caring for the orphans and the widows. So, really, we need to bring this to the forefront of our thinking, but also Christian ministry as well. Before I continue with this theme, I think it's important for us to say that the context is slightly different or quite a bit different. If you were a widow in this New Testament time, genuinely in need, you probably wouldn't have even been able to afford to buy food. So Paul is writing to Timothy to say, look, this is a Christian ministry devised to support those genuinely in need. I recognise today that widows probably have pensions, they have benefits in some way. So really, when we're thinking about helping them as a church, recognizing those genuine need, it doesn't necessarily mean financial, or it can do, but it means help them morally, physically, practically, or whatever they need to be there as a support for them. And that's why Paul is writing to Timothy here. He wants to express God's heart and caring for the widows. And he offers this criteria, two criteria. Firstly, that you need to recognize if they are real widows. What he means by that is, have they got grandkids or children that can support them? Because if they do, they need to learn godliness through supporting that widow in the family. Because he goes on to say that if you don't care for your family, don't provide for those in your family, you're worse than unbelievers. And it's important for us to recognize that it's not someone who's perhaps just experienced a partner dying, but maybe a partner's left them and they genuinely on their own. As a family, we need to step up and offer them that support. The second thing, the criteria, what she's saying is they need to be genuine widows. What he's saying here is that there's two types of widows. One widow is living life in luxury, has no time for God, who has the money to live that exuberant lifestyle. He's saying they're not the ones that you need to support as a church ministry. But what he's saying is those who are praying all night, crying out to God for help, those are the ones who are genuinely in need. Those who haven't got that financial ability to go out and live life like they want, they are genuinely in need and genuine need of support from the church. And as a church, we need to recognize, don't we, those who are genuinely in need. Some people might have children and grandkids who can support them, but some people might have children and grandchildren who don't support them. So it's us to take each case by case basis and look and see where we can support people. And again, it might not be financially, it might be a way of just offering them support, a phone call, a conversation, a hug, well, not at the moment, it to come, practical support, cutting their grass, offering to move furniture or whatever it is. As a ministry, as a church, we need to step up and offer this support to those genuinely in need. Now, Paul here then morphs into a different topic, but we think because he doesn't explain exactly what this list is, although we can devise from what he talks about what it is. He says about the list, we automatically think it's a list of widows that need this financial support. And he again makes some criteria for people who can be on this list. And it doesn't make sense that he would exclude financial support and practical support to those under 60 or those who don't wash the disciples' feet. What I believe he's talking about here, this list is particularly aimed at those who are going to be authorized kingdom service within the ministry of the church. Those who have been washing the disciples' feet, those who have been offering hospitality, those who have been bringing their children up in the Lord, those who have been helping people in trouble, those who have been devoting themselves to all kinds of deeds. These are the ones who should be authorized to be in Christian type leadership ministry here in the church. And why has he excluded under 60s? Primarily because he's saying here that the younger ones are more concerned about getting married rather than offering their devotion to Christian service. And he's saying even some of them are going around house to house gossiping. But he's saying the over 60s are the ones who have that undivided devotion to the Lord, where they're perhaps not concerned so much about marrying anymore, so they want to use their gifts for the Lord. So I think that this is an amazing text, because what he's saying is if you're younger, then you can find a partner and get married. But he's saying, look, if you're over 60, life's not over. God's not done with you yet. He's going to use you so powerfully. And I think that's amazing, that God is going to use you within Christian service. He's even going to authorize you in kingdom service. And I think that is phenomenal. So that's the two things. One, God loves you as a widow. He cares for you so much that he wants the church to support you in that way. But he also tells the family to be that primary support, whether it be financial or practical. He has his eye on you. He cares for you. He wants people to support you. But secondly, he's not done with you. He wants you to use your time, your service, your skills, your gifts for the Lord, so that many people can grow in you. And remember, we have to think about those eternal rewards. If you use the rest of your days here on earth for the Lord, for service for him, he will reward you, I'm sure, in the beautiful eternal kingdom. So anyway, I'm just going to finish there, and may the Lord bless you abundantly.